The year 1999 brought a national championship to Purdue, an invitation to a New Year's Day bowl game, a reunion of Purdue's astronauts, and another year of record enrollment.
I'm Rosemary Elzey, Secretary with the Purdue Alumni Association. Purdue is on top in producing astronauts.
We have booster ignition and liftoff of...
Purdue, known as the cradle of astronauts, has 21 alumni who have flown in space. 18 of them returned to Purdue for President's Council weekend in October.
You really have to force yourself every once in a while to take a break, look around, try to imprint some of those visual images onto your brain.
Several of them taught classes about various aspects of space travel to alumni and friends.
There you go. Thank you.
Gene Cernan, the last man to walk on the moon, patiently signed copies of his new book for more than 4 hours at the Purdue Memorial Union.
There you go.
Later, Cernan joined his fellow astronauts for a press conference, which featured comments about Purdue's key role in their development.
When you go to Purdue, a little bit more is expected of you, and therefore maybe we attract a little bit of the elite young men and young women out there.
The astronauts made several presentations, including flight patches to Purdue President Stephen Beering and a pin to the Reamer Club, which former astronaut Don Williams once headed. The astronauts capped the weekend with an appearance at Ross-Ade Stadium during halftime of the Penn State game.
And we have no control over our body.
Possible future astronauts got a taste of weightlessness through their participation on a KC-135 training plane, otherwise known as the Vomit Comet. The Purdue students conducted experiments in weightless conditions, which were simulated as their airplane took a path like a huge roller coaster.
I'm Danielle Gaylord from the Purdue Alumni Association. Purdue student enrollment continues to rise.
For the first time in history, Purdue's enrollment on the West Lafayette campus cracked the 37,000 mark, with 37,762 students attending in the fall. System-wide, enrollment was nearly 66,500. The quality of the students is rising as well. Average SAT scores for freshmen at the West Lafayette campus were 15 points higher than 3 years ago, and the freshman class included 185 valedictorians.
As we think about the population in the state of Indiana and the available students that could enter higher education, that pool is shrinking. However, Purdue University is beating those odds, if you will, and recruiting and admitting those top students to this campus.
Purdue also had more international students than any other public research institution in the country. Students from 127 different countries enrolled on the West Lafayette campus. With the increase in students came an increase in traffic. Road construction in the Levee area made travel around campus particularly slow as the fall semester began. There were no traffic delays at the 42nd annual running of the Purdue Grand Prix. Thomas Gray, a freshman of the Schools of Engineering from Indianapolis, took the checkered flag and the traditional swig of milk.
Who gave it up special so she could work here?
Some students used their extracurricular time to participate in Purdue Theater, which produced several plays, including The Gut Girls.
They done something terrible to me.
Purdue bands continued to entertain audiences in a number of venues. A traditional favorite is the 1812 Overture at Slater Center each April.
We are the voices of America. We are the nation's heart and soul.
More than 100 students toured Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji as members of the Voices of America. The group combined the talents of the Purdue musical organizations and the Black Voices of Inspiration. The trip included some once-in-a-lifetime experiences, including a chance to become friends with students from different backgrounds.
Everybody who has been a part of this historic trip will always remember it, not just in terms of the places that we traveled or the concerts that we did, but the bonding that took place between everybody on this trip.
I think that's the highlight of the tour, is to see the young people
of different colors, backgrounds, different styles of music, different exposures come together.
Did you have to do a presentation?
Many times, yeah.
A new high-tech job fair brought Indiana employers to Purdue looking for students with the right stuff.
In the state of Indiana, so many of our technical graduates leave the state for employment in other areas. And we want to try to reverse that trend and see if Indiana companies can have a chance at these graduates.
Thousands of students again made the joyous march of commencement. Among those receiving honorary degrees was longtime Purdue trustee Bob Jesse, who retired from the board in 1999. Jesse was succeeded by Michael Burke.
I'm Mary Dennis, Admin Assistant for the Purdue Alumni Association. Purdue honored its top teachers in a new way in 1999.
He said the third one, midway down.
The university dedicated the Book of Great Teachers during Gala Week ceremonies. The display in the Memorial Union pays homage to Purdue's award-winning instructors.
The essence of the university, as Hopkins said, is a student, a teacher, and a book. And that's what we're symbolizing here. We now have 225. We are planning to add these at 5-year intervals.
It's a little deceptive because the size of the bags are different.
Purdue's School of Education is helping prepare great teachers. One program the school is using to help teachers convey complex thinking skills is called 21st Century Conceptual Tools.
Indiana wouldn't be the basketball state it is if we spent 12 years doing skills and drills before we let kids scrimmage. And it's not so different in math and science. They need to do complex things, as well as the drills and skills.
Obvious needs to be capitalized.
The School of Consumer and Family Sciences is also reaching out to local schools by conducting research about the benefits of year-round schooling.
This project is one of the first projects to follow kids individually and to follow them over time, to gather information on both achievement and on social skills and school adjustment, how kids like school.
Purdue engineers formed the Institute of Safe, Quiet, and Durable Highways, the first center in the nation dedicated to understanding the physics behind highway noise.
We're going to be looking at laboratory testing to determine what's happening at the interface between tires and pavements. We're also going to be looking at some of the typical pavement structures to see if they can be made in a way that's quiet and still be durable.
So you can see where it's tweaking in place.
Purdue scientists have made strides in nanotechnology by developing tiny wires 100 times smaller than the wires commonly used in silicon chips that are capable of conducting current.
Microchip technology is reaching its limit and how small it can go. And right now that limit is maybe 1/1000th of a meter. And so what we're trying to do here is develop the next step to go to the nanometer scale, which is 1/1000th of a meter.
The School of Technology received another huge donation from United Airlines. The 737-200 serves as an on-ground laboratory for the 600 students enrolled in aviation-related majors at Purdue.
We feel that our partnerships with United Airlines and some of the other carriers that we're working with have been instrumental in providing students the experience that they need and the training that they need so that when they leave here, graduate, go out into the field, they'll be very, very successful.
The Krannert Graduate School of Management got a new dean in 1999. Richard Kozier joined Purdue from the University of Oklahoma and succeeded Dennis Weidenauer, who went back to full-time teaching and research.
To me, that's a perfect place to let the employees decide.
Krannert launched a private business school in Hanover, Germany. The German International School of Management and Administration offers a Purdue degree with Krannert faculty members teaching the courses.
Well, this program reflects an interest from the highest levels of the German government and from several of the corporate leaders in Germany to have a U.S.-styled MBA program for the people in Germany. So we were selected based on a fairly competitive search for an outstanding master's program that could be offered in Germany.
I had a little chart here.
James Dworkin, former associate dean at Krannert, became chancellor at Purdue North Central. Dworkin succeeded Dale Alspaugh, who had been chancellor since 1984.
I think this campus is poised and set to jump to the next level, and that'll involve things like probably new programs, maybe some new buildings, some development activities, and it's just very exciting, all the prospects.
I'm Alta Reed.
Merchandise Manager for the Purdue Alumni Association. New buildings and structures continue to rise on the Purdue campuses.
At each of these pieces.
Purdue President Stephen Beering is scheduled to relinquish the presidency on July 1st, 2000, although the university's Board of Trustees has asked him to stay longer if a successor is not yet named. Part of President Beering's legacy will be the physical transformation of campus, including the addition of more green spaces and student meeting spots.
This campus has become a place full of outdoor living spaces. It has an inherent beauty which has been magnified by the plantings, by the rebirth of many trees, and by all of these beautiful malls and parks.
The Black Cultural Center held grand opening ceremonies during homecoming weekend. More than 800 people attended the dedication ceremony, which was held in conjunction with tours and performances.
The true gift is actually camouflaged by the bricks and glass. It's not the walls, the ceiling, the artwork inside, but it's the generation after generation of students who have passed through the Black Cultural Center and experienced the wonderful programs and activities the center has to offer. The new center stands as a symbol of pride, acceptance, and accomplishment to the African American community.
You guys all moved in?
The Technology Center in the Purdue Research Park was also dedicated. The center offers marketing, accounting, public relations, and business strategy assistance for high-tech startup companies.
What we're really hoping to achieve in the long run, it is to provide new jobs. Yes, we need manufacturing jobs, but we also need jobs in the high-tech industries.
Work started on the Aquatic Center adjacent to the recreational gymnasium. The center is designed for general student use in addition to housing the men's and women's swimming teams.
It can go in different directions.
Several other projects are in the planning stages, including a new visual and performing arts center to be located on the south side of campus. The Krannert School is also planning a new building. And Ross-Ade Stadium will get a facelift at the end of the 2000 season, including a new press box, larger concourses, and expanded concession areas.
You'll look like Venus de Milo.
Sculptor Larry Anderson of Seattle, Washington, has been commissioned to produce a new life-size sculpture for the School of Veterinary Medicine.
This idea is called Continuum. It deals with the continuing relationship of human beings and animals down through time and the role that veterinarians play.
We wanted to bring art to Purdue that would challenge the viewer.
Purdue North Central hosted Millennia Nexus, a major exhibit of outdoor sculpture. 10 pieces by 9 sculptors are on display through August 2000. Purdue celebrated the old as well as the new in 1999. The Purdue Memorial Union turned 75 years old and held a special celebration marking the event.
I'm Cindy Robertson, receptionist for Purdue Alumni Association. PAA's programs and activities continue to rise in numbers.
The Alumni Association hosted a Valentine's Day party in conjunction with a membership solicitation. One lucky winner received a trip for 2 to Paris.
It's Robert Johnson from Houston, Texas.
April brought Gala Week and the annual class parade to John Purdue's grave. 2 alums were honored at the Founders Day banquet. Daniel Grimm of Evansville, Indiana, and Mark Barnow of Indianapolis were given citizenship awards for outstanding work in their communities. President Beering addressed the group.
The university is in the business of transforming lives. In order to do so, we must be willing to constantly transform ourselves.
Today we recognize Each year, PAA presents special Boilermaker Awards to faculty or staff for their impact on student life. The 1999 winners were Linda Ewing, Associate Dean of Students, Richard Grace, Director of the Undergraduate Studies Program, and Lanny Wilson, Director of Administration for Purdue Residence Halls. Alumni Association Executive Director Larry Prio and PAA President Tom Carroll presented the Distinguished Alumni Award to astronauts Neil Armstrong and Gene Cernan, the first and last men on the moon. The Distinguished Alumni Award is the highest honor bestowed by the Alumni Association. The Alumni Association hosted a tent at each home football game, and PAA distributed 10,000 free foam fingers to fans before the Wisconsin game. The fingers promoted the Alumni Association's new relationship with an internet portal partner called I Belong. At PurdueAlumni.ibelong.com, alumni and friends of the university can get the latest on campus news and sports, get daily stock quotes and horoscopes, check the weather, and do online shopping. Also during football season, the alumni band returned for a rousing performance during homecoming.
I'm Pat Wilson, a secretary for the Purdue Alumni Association. Several Purdue athletes and teams have finished on top in 1999.
For the third straight season, Joe Tiller led his Boilermaker football team to a bowl game. Purdue was tabbed to play in the Outback Bowl, the first major sporting event in the year 2000. The Alumni Association hosted a sold-out tour, and more than 22,000 Boilermaker fans made their way to Tampa to cheer on their team. More than 5,000 Purdue fans packed the Tampa Convention Center the day before the game for a rousing pep rally. Among the speakers was Coach Tiller.
Let's get ready to rumble!
The morning of the game, thousands packed a tent across the street from Raymond James Stadium for a pregame breakfast party. Inside the stadium, the All-American Marching Band helped the crowd boiler up. Unfortunately, the Boilers lost the game to Georgia 28-25 in overtime. Junior quarterback Drew Brees had another outstanding season, finishing fourth in the balloting for the Heisman Trophy. Senior wide receiver Chris Daniels set a Purdue and Big Ten record with 121 catches, and both Brees and Daniels were named third-team All-American by the Associated Press.
Line could help you with that.
Purdue Crew alumni returned for a home football weekend to dedicate a new shell and watch its first trip on the Wabash River.
Let's go, Marsh.
Jason Marshall, a sophomore from Dallas, became Purdue's first men's tennis singles champion since 1984.
That's it, Jay! Into the circle now. Toyinda Smith of Purdue.
Toyinda Smith, a senior from Gary, Indiana, captured the NCAA Indoor Championship in the hammer throw, and she helped lead the outdoor track team to the Big Ten title.
And off the bench comes Purdue.
The men's basketball team overcame a disappointing Big Ten season to win its first two games in the NCAA tournament, advancing to the Sweet 16. Coach Gene Katie's crew upset number 2 seeded Miami in the second round game in Boston.
As Katie Douglas throws the ball skyward, it's over. Purdue wins 62-45, capturing the national championship.
Guided by head coach Carolyn Peck, the women's basketball team became the first squad to win a national championship at Purdue since men's golf in 1961. Finishing 34-1 and on a 32-game winning streak, the Boilermakers captured the title in San Jose, California, with a thrilling 62-45 win over Duke. Several thousand fans were on hand in California to cheer the Boilermakers to victory.
And this is going to be very difficult for
the team survived the loss of All-American Stephanie White McCarty to an injury in the championship game to pull out the win. Fellow senior co-captain Yukari Figs was named the most outstanding player of the Final Four.
Yukari Figs just turning it up a notch.
The team was given a hero's welcome at a championship celebration at Mackey Arena.
The team was great because they practiced as a team, played as a team, stayed together as a team against all odds. You are the best, you are the first, and you are the national champions.
Later, the team was honored at a White House reception with President Clinton.
It's an honor to be here. I think that, this is something that only happens once in a lifetime, and to be able to come here and to meet the president and, other people, it's just a great experience.
Peck, the National Coach of the Year, left the Boilermakers after the season to become coach and general manager of the Orlando Miracle of the WNBA. Purdue named Christy Curry, an assistant coach at Louisiana Tech, to replace Peck.
As a little bitty girl, I always dreamed of having this type of opportunity, and I'm very proud and honored. The work ethic and the commitment that this program stands for, we will work each and every day to continue that, and just look forward to continuing to build on this young tradition of women's basketball at Purdue.
I hope you've enjoyed this newsreel. This portion is coming to you from Tampa, Florida, and I hope you'll continue to support your Purdue Alumni Association and your university. Thank you for all your support, and hail Purdue.
Come on! Where the Wabash spreads its valley filled with joy, our voices raise. From the skies in swelling echoes come the cheers that tell the tale of your victories and your heroes. At Purdue we sing all hail. Hail, hail to all.